Hello. Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to the International Wealth Builders Association radio talk show. I'm your host, LaToyaTillett, live on KCAA Broadcasting Network. I'm a member of the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club and Finest Women in Real Estate. So a little bit about myself. I'm the broker owner of Tillett Realty Group and also CEO of Tax Plus Financial Services. And as you know, this is tax season, so we're right in the thick of things. So anywho, what I do is I specialize in helping my clients to put together diverse portfolios that include commercial, residential, and international properties while maximizing their tax benefits. So today I'm very, very excited to have my special guest in the building. Her name is Briana Prince. Briana, please tell us who you are and welcome to the show.
Thank you, LaToya. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yes, so my name is Briana Prince. Who I am a legacy builder / life insurance consultant. Okay. So a little bit about me is, I've been in the life insurance industry now for almost 10 years. So I was a baby when I started.
Yes. Obviously.
I just turned 30, so,
it's... Wow.
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So I actually started when I was in college. I started out as an intern working for a gentleman who was a broker.
Okay.
And it's so funny because I think that the people that I worked with back then would actually laugh at the fact that I'm still in the industry. Because, as an intern, I didn't see it, I understood what life insurance was. It just wasn't something that I had ever aspired to do. I really just applied for the job just to look for an internship. That was it.
Okay.
Get some real world experience. I had a few jobs prior to that, but just really getting some experience out there. So then, I ended up staying in the life insurance industry, mostly just because I realized how important it was and there was a huge need for it. Okay. So after a while, there was a question that I used to ask people all the time. Well, why are you looking for life insurance? That was a question I always asked, and I still ask to this day.
That's a good question. I haven't been asked that one.
Yeah. I like to know because what makes someone all of a sudden decide, let me request for some life insurance information. Right. And so then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? Because I would hear people's stories on why they're requesting life insurance, and I could talk about that all day. But, it was usually because someone that they knew or a family member passed away unexpectedly, that sort of thing. And so it just became something that I realized how important it was. And then I was like, I want to help. And so that's how I got into the industry.
That's beautiful. That's amazing that you got in, and especially you got in so young. You got in at an age where most people, the last thing they're thinking about is life insurance or selling life insurance.
I wasn't even thinking about it at that time either.
Right. But sometimes we grow into our niches, as I would say. You kind of have an idea of what it is you want to do. I always grew up I'm going to be a background dancer for Janet Jackson. Oh. Not realizing just how old she'd be when I became an adult.
Right.
But she's still touring and everything. So, dream isn't
She's
dead.
Fantastic, man.
Yes, amazing. Definitely going to see her this year.
Yeah.
Janet. Okay, anyway. So, then sometimes you just kind of grow into new careers when you start working and, checking different things out, and you kind of grow into a space that you're not necessarily, necessarily wasn't on your vision plan.
Right. Definitely not. Yes.
But you kind of grow into it, and then you like it. And then you like to serve the people. So that is amazing to hear.
Yeah. I always knew I liked to help people. So this was my way of, I guess, doing that. And it's been fantastic. I love it. I love doing it.
That's awesome. I like helping people too. It's like, okay, let's save some money on these taxes. That's what I really, really like to do. Helping people just really see the opportunities and options that they have.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Taxes is a huge one.
Yes,
sure.
It is.
And there's so many little different things within taxes that, I've been self-employed now for almost 10 years, and I I still don't understand. That's what I pay my tax man for.
Exactly. That's what you do. You get you a good tax preparer out there, and an enrolled agent or a CPA that actually knows taxes. Because I know everybody thinks, oh, I just go to my CPA. But if your CPA doesn't specifically specialize in taxation, you may not be saving as much money on your taxes as you thought. Sorry, put that out there. But just so everybody knows. And so, anyway, so I'm looking at the name of your company. So it's called Truleg.
Truleg.
Why
yes.
did you choose that name?
That is a fantastic
I like to
question.
know the background. And so what goes into a name, because it means something to you, obviously.
It does, and it means a lot to me. So Truleg, when I was finally getting to a point where I'm like, I want to actually grow this business. So part of that was first, what is my name gonna be? Right. You know, and so I'm like, what I ended up thinking about, well, what's important to me? Trust and integrity is really huge for me. Okay. So, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, the only thing that you can really trust a person off of is their character. True. And so my integrity is something that I don't compromise on, just because it's a representation of who I am, and I can't compromise that. Right. And so it came up with, so then I came up with the word trust. Okay. You know, I'm like, trust. And then life insurance. Life insurance is a legacy that you leave behind for your family. And then, you know, I just kept playing around with that idea. Those were the two words that I really liked with legacy, because legacy means so many different things. At the end of the day, whether you want to recognize it or not, we're all going to have we all have an expiration date, you know, and the question is, and we all leave a legacy behind. The question is, what legacy are you leaving behind? Right. So I had a lady who requested for life insurance. And again, I asked her, this was 2016. And of course I asked her that question that I always ask everyone. What made you decide to get life insurance? Right. And she told me because her mom had passed away unexpectedly, leaving her and her dad with a lot of debt. And for her, it was like, I'm not leaving my family like this. There's no way. Yeah. And she ended up making the comment that now whenever she thinks of her mom, that hardship she went through is the first thought in her head. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. And I know it's not something that we like to talk about. Come on, of course not. Of course. But at the end of the day.
But it's real.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, anyway. So true legacy was the thing the two words that I came up with, and then just combined the two words to come up with Truleg.
Nice. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's a really interesting concept. That's actually how I put my son's, my first child. I put his name together like that.
What's his name?
Tyren.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wrote my name down, wrote my husband's name down, and crossed out letters until I made a name that made sense to me.
That's awesome. What did your husband say?
Renette. His name is Renette, so
okay.
You know, like Tyren, so the TY from me and the REN from my husband.
And when you came up with the name, what did he say?
He was cool with it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So it worked out well.
Yeah. Good for you guys.
Awesome. So I am really loving the name, and now that I know the meaning behind it,
yeah,
you know, it makes it, you know, hit home a little bit more.
I feel like it makes sense, you know, once when there's an explanation behind it, because otherwise you're like, what the heck is Truleg? What does that even mean?
Right. That's why I'm like, I wanted to ask. I'm like, hey, how did you come up with Truleg? Right. You know, why was that the choice that you went with? And so now we know, because you're putting the trust and the legacy together. Yep. Okay. And I think that's an important piece, too, that goes with strategic planning. Anyone who's getting into, even just for your own families, but even if you're getting to investing and things like that, you definitely want to have a strategic plan where you know what's going to happen with everything. And having a life insurance policy, we'll talk a little bit more about the products that you do offer. But I know there are certain products out there that protect your mortgage. Yep. So, you know, you have kids in the house still, and you pass on. You know, what's going to happen, how they're going to pay the mortgage if they're not used to paying it before and everything. So definitely, you know, whenever you're putting together your strategic plan, you know, all the millionaires do it. Everyone, they have key man life insurance policies within their businesses. You know, they have certain protections for their assets and everything. So it's definitely a necessary conversation to have. Absolutely. Because you always want to think with the end game in mind. Yep, absolutely. And so, you know, what's going to happen when I'm not here? What's going to happen if you know, I'm laid up in the hospital and I can't, you know, do anything for a couple of weeks or a couple months or a couple of years even. Yeah. You know, and that's a lot of things that people do not tend to think about.
Some people choose to ignore it too. You know, I don't know what it is, but from my experience, I find it more common among men who just don't want to have that conversation. Wow. And like, there's this client of mine. I've known her now for about 6 years. That's when I first helped her get her policy. So we got a policy on her. And the intent was to get a policy for her husband. Right. Her husband wasn't having it. Mind you, her husband's 20 years older than her.
Oh.
He's now 79,
okay.
and she's 20 years younger, so she's 59. Actually, she just turned 60, I think.
Oh, okay, great.
So, yeah, you know, and I'm like, this is what I was saying earlier about, well, we had our own conversation before this, but, you know, I love numbers. Numbers, facts, and statistics are huge, in my opinion.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, because I feel like it tells a good story. So with this gentleman in particular, he, you know, again, it was about 6 years ago, or 5 to 6 years ago, when we got his wife's policy. And then, you know, when I first met with him, because I met with them separately, because that's just how it worked out. And he was like, well, I don't want to worry about it.
Right.
And his wife was literally crying to me, legit, just literally crying. Like when he's not there, by the way.
Okay.
She's crying to me, just saying, if something happens to him, I have nothing, because she didn't work. She stayed at home and everything. And, you know, the reason why they have everything is because of him. So she recognized, number one, if he passed away, she loses her income. And she has no idea what's going to happen to her financially, and she's not going to even be able to bury him. And so that was her concern. And, you know, I brought that up to him and everything, but he is literally the most stubborn man I have ever met. Gosh. But at the end of the day, it really impacts her so much. And I get so scared whenever I get a phone call from her, because I just get nervous. And I know I shouldn't, but I do,
scary.
because I know he's at a point now. He's 79. He'll be 80 this year. He's already at life expectancy, statistically speaking, right?
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It's like, the good thing is he's still healthy.
Well, that's good.
Get it together, though, because life happens.
Life does happen.
I don't know
even
how else to say it.
Ones.
Life happens.
It
and
does.
Unfortunately, his wife, is going to be the one to have to deal with it. And, you know, actually, girl, I can go on all day. I'm dead serious, telling different stories.
Oh my goodness, that's good. But yeah, that's what we need. We need real life examples, because you never know who you're going to touch.
Well, yeah, you know, there was another lady that I had spoke to. This was 2018. So this lady, she was reaching out for life insurance information. Actually, I found her. Well, she found me through Facebook.
Okay.
And I came over to her house to sit with her and everything, and she ended up mentioning how her husband had passed away. This was probably like in May of 2018.
Okay.
Her husband had passed away December of 2017.
Oh, wow.
So she wanted to, we were just talking, you know, and we had a conversation about how her husband had passed away. Okay. He, you know, life insurance was not, she wanted to get life insurance back in 99 when he had his first heart attack. But he was like, no, he didn't want to talk about it.
Wow.
And so it was a subject that was never talked about. But then when he passed away, she lost her home. Wow. She lost her income. She ended up moving in with her kids, you know, which, you know, isn't always a bad thing, you know. Not but, always. You know, it's just that it caused stress.
The ripple effect.
Yes. You know, and so, yeah, anyway, she didn't even have money to bury him and stuff, so she had to rely on family, friends, and that sort of thing, unfortunately. But, you know, the good thing is she made it through it, of course, so that's what matters. But, again, even for her, she was like, I'm not, my kids aren't going through this again. Right. They already went through it with their dad. They're not going to go through it again with when the time does come for her, you know?
Yes, that's definitely smart thinking on her behalf. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and touch on some more life insurance topics and some different products. We'll get into some more different products that Briana has to offer. So we'll see you guys in about 2 minutes.